However, one nice thing he's doing here is he's actually going Raven. This is pretty rare. Very few Terrans actually use Ravens right now. And it's kind of strange, I think, because both PDD and HSM are very powerful versus mutas. The missile does a ton of splash damage, and point defense drone, it blocks mutalist attacks, so it's very effective against that. And also, the detection allows you to take out creep tumors, the burrowed creep tumors. And because creep is so valuable to the Zerg, that's a big plus in itself. And also nullifies another tactic, burrowed banelings, which are very, very powerful versus marine heavy armies like this. You have a couple of banelings burrowed here, and Terran basically just has to scan their way across the entire map. And since each scan costs a mule, that's very powerful. But with the Raven, you completely nullify that. Here you can see me beginning muta harass. I took out that gas. I believe I killed a supply depot there. I also scout his expansion. This again tells me that I'm relatively safe for the time being. He's invested that extra 400 minerals, so his army is going to be much smaller than mine, relatively speaking. So I can afford to add another hatchery, add another expansion, send my queen down, and start droning up. I believe these are all, oh, those are Zerglings. Here I'm getting Baneling speed. Again, going for a mutaling-Baneling composition. This is very powerful versus any kind of bionic-based army, because the Banelings are just so powerful versus Marines, and you're forced to build Marines versus Mutalists. So it's a nice unit combination, and I like it a lot. It gives you a lot of control over the game, and it's just a very strong army. Here, you can see that QXC is opting to try to expand. As I said before, this is a map where it's very difficult to either expand or be aggressive for Terran. He's decided to go and try and turtle and split the map. This is a good option for him, given as he lost his army here early. That's going to cripple his aggressive abilities all throughout the rest of the game. He's never really going to have as many units as he should, so it's always going to be very dangerous for him to be aggressive. As I say that, he begins to attack, but he does pull back immediately as soon as he sees my army. He knows that I would win this battle pretty convincingly, and he really has to pull back and be defensive at this point. At this point, I am just droning up, getting my third base up and running, getting my upgrades, and teching. And at this point, there's not much either of us can do. We both decided to pull back and play an economic game. This means our armies aren't strong enough to risk an engagement, so we're just kind of poking around, seeing what the other does, hoping someone will make a mistake. He's hoping I'll engage here, and then he can run back through this choke and abuse that. Block it off with Thors so my Banelings can't get in. However, I know this, so I'm being careful about engaging. I do have to keep my army here, however, so he can't run in and kill this with a small group of units. And here, I'm headed for Hive right now. I also have dual evolution chamber upgrades. It's very important to get strong units on a map like this, because what will happen in the late game is it will be split along this line. Terran will take all of the expansions around this side of the map, and Zerg will take these expansions. So this means that Zerg basically has 5 to 10 minutes to kill a Terran before they start to starve and run out of gas. And this means that upgrades early mid-game are very, very important, because you have to have the strongest units possible for that timing where you have to take advantage of your ability to kill them. Because after that, you just kind of run out of resources and there's nothing you can do. So you have to really hit that timing perfectly and be able to take full advantage of it. And we see that QXC knows this. He's setting up a very strong defensive position here. A couple of bunkers, turrets, a sensor tower. For all Terrans out there, the sensor tower is very underused. It's ridiculously powerful. Being able to see when my units are coming here, they're here, it's just so useful. I think Terrans need to use that building a lot more. And here, we're still just probing each other, looking for a weakness. This is getting to the point where I need to think about attacking. If I just split the map here, it's a little dangerous for me. And as Terran, he wants to split the map. He's looking for a defensive game at this point. That's why he set up this position here, why he has a planetary here. He's made another command center. He absolutely does not want to attack. And it looks like he's attacking right now, but really this is just harassment. The moment my army shows up, he pulls back. And that was a great Hunter-Seeker missile. It killed a lot of Banelings there. Forces me back. However, he does have very few units because he's taking that fourth base up there. So really this is not a good decision by him. He needed to pull back much quicker than that. And instead, he overcommitted and he lost all his units, and I'm able to just make that attack I was talking about, that mid-game killing attack that prevents him from splitting the map and starving me out. So really what he wanted to do there was just sit back behind this and wait. Instead, he gave me his army, and I was able to take advantage of it and go into the kill. And you can see, he has this 4th base here. He has this here with full SCVs. He has full SCVs here as well. He committed everything to that defensive posture here, but then he goes and is aggressive, and that was really just a bad decision on his part. He invested in being defensive and then tried to make an attack, and that will never work. It's just the basics of RTS. If you invest in an army, then you can attack, but if you're investing something other than an army, you never ever want to attack, because your army will always be smaller than your opponent's. And here, he's lost map control, as I won that battle so convincingly. This means that I kind of have run of whatever I want to do. As is, I'm just teching up to Ultralists. I'm going to use those to bust his turtle. Trying to attack with just this army can be a little dangerous. They are fragile units, so you have to be careful about that. This is kind of a desperation move on his part. He was hoping that he could come in and snipe this hatchery and I wouldn't see it. Unfortunately, I did. And just killed it essentially for free. Right now, he just has to build up a one-time army and hope I make a mistake and throw away my units or something like that. However, I'm aware of that, so I just kind of sit back and play passively and build up an unkillable army so that there's nothing he can do to beat me. Here he's trying desperately to come down here and kill that hatchery that's in red health. And here I've taken down these rocks, give me another route to try and kill him. This is very well defended, that planetary with those turrets. And obviously his army is in this area. So it's very useful to open this up, give me another route to try and attack. Eventually I will catch his army out of position and be able to kill him. And until then I just kind of have to bide my time and try to not make any mistakes. Also taking this 5th base. And I have a maxed army where he only has 171 supply. It's a very big army advantage for me. He's not really going to be able to be aggressive with this. If he moves out of his defensive posture, my army will just crush his. And knowing that, he just kind of goes around and tries to harass. He does manage to take out this hatchery here, so I can rebuild it immediately, and my army is still so much bigger than his that it doesn't really matter that much. And here he's going out trying to set up that defensive position once again. Unfortunately, my army is just so big at this point that there's not really much you can do with it. Just run in, surround him with his Zerglings, and that's that. One thing to notice here is very important to try and use the Zerglings to surround in this position. Zerglings become infinitely better when they have that bigger surface area, when they can actually surround an army and being attacking from all sides. If you have Zerglings just moving in one wave like that, only a fraction of them would be attacking at any one time, and they die so quickly that it's really just not efficient to fight that way. So you have to be careful to surround whenever you're using Zerglings in almost any situation. He was able to kite my Ultralists with the Marauders and scare me off a little bit, but at this point it's just a matter of time, me waiting for him to make a mistake and be able to finish him off. You can see his 3rd base is mined out, his 2nd base is essentially mined out, and I have secured this 5th base up here. His last little army running around, poking around, trying to make something happen, but at this point it's pretty much a lost cause. And he GG's. The big point to take away from this game was really just when you're playing a defensive game, you don't get aggressive. That's what he did, and he paid for it, and that's just kind of like a fundamental of RTS. If you're playing defensively, you stay with the defense unless you see some kind of opening. Otherwise, that's going to happen to you. This has been an EG Pro Replay review brought to you by Kingston HyperX. For more information on Kingston and its HyperX line of products, visit kingston.com/HyperX. And for more great StarCraft 2 content, visit the Evil Geniuses team website at www.myeg.net.
The new Kingston HyperX T1 memory is the only memory designed specifically for extreme and hardcore gamers. Sporting sleek, blue professional-grade heat spreaders, the T1 memory is the perfect DDR3 solution for all your computing needs. For more information, visit www.kingston.com/HyperX.